If you follow along with my top 5 not to buy comic book list every week, then this series is for you, because this is where I actually go back and track the prices on those comic books 6 months and 1 year later. Hi, I'm Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and like I said, in this series I track the prices on those comic books. I use several different tools to do that: Cover Price, Go Collect, comicspriceguide.com, Overstreet Access, and eBay sold listings. I show you all the sales data that I'm looking at, so I basically show my math so you can make your own decisions on whether or not a book was worth buying or not. In this installment, we're taking a look at my top 5 not to buy list from 10/24/22. So that was just over 6 months ago. Let's dive in with the first book on that list, which is What If Planet Hulk #1. So this book is the first full appearance of Scar, and it popped off for, She-Hulk related reasons. There's a lot of speculation before that even. And so let's take a look at this one on Cover Price. Let's see, the current trend is down. We have the most common condition for raw is a near mint, and 9.8 is the most common slab grade. Let's look at raw real fast. Okay, looking at near mint for raw, we want to get to 10/24. So this sold the day before the list came out. It sold for $89, $69, $59.99, $45, $48, $70, and $69. And it hasn't had a sale since November 15th of 2022, according to this data. Let's look at slabbed. Okay, looking at 9.8, which it said was the most common grade, we move forward in time to 10/24. On 10/29, this was selling for $621. And then in December, it sold for $228, $265, $168, and then $152 back in May. Actually, in May this month. And if you think that first 621 was a fluke, if you're not paying attention here, 625, before that 660, 890, 795. So there were quite a few sales leading up to that list where it was selling for 6 times what it's going for now. All right, let's look at Go Collect. We're going to want to look at 9.8s for this one. And its current 1 year average is 515, 90-day average is 195, 30-day average is 160. You can check out all their sales data here. So that's looking pretty much like a trend down. What does comicspriceguide.com say? Looking at a raw value, we have a $75 raw value. And we have that's a lot. $475 graded for a 9.8. Overstreet Access has this one listed for a 9.8, $40, and that would be a raw for a 9.8. All right, what about eBay sold listings? For eBay sold listings, $50 at the end of March. May 9th, $45. A 9.8 slab sold for $152.50. I believe that's a sale we saw tracked earlier on Go Collect and Cover Price. $141 on an auction. A 9.0 sold for $12. Wow. Yeah, I mean, with just where we're at right now on this book, for the fall, from $600 when list came out for a 9.8 down to $150, the raw prices being what they are. I mean, Scar hasn't even come to the MCU in like a standalone appearance besides the credit scene. That's a pretty big drop. I'm pretty safe that was a good one not to buy. Okay, next up on the list we have Daredevil 28. This is the series that started in 2015, so I think this is it has a legacy number on it too, but it's the issue where Wilson Fisk is elected mayor of New York. So let's check out Cover Price on this one. So they have it. It's actually currently trending up. And the reason why, there's a set photo or something that leaked of Vincent D'Onofrio looking rather mayoral. I think he's wearing like a flag pen or something like that. So this is probably bumping right now. No slabbed comic sales, which I think from pulling up the different sites looks like there might not be any on the census. So let's look at 10/24. This started selling for $10 like the day before, then $5, $13, $10, $5, $5, $5, $5, $5, $20, $20, $30, $30. So this book actually did start heating up at the basically the very beginning of April, the very end of March. So for raw values, still no slabs that I can see on Cover Price. If we look on Go Collect, they say there's none, 0 universal copies on the census. And then if you look at CBCS, for example, it also has 0, no census data available. So there's that. Let's look at comicspriceguide.com. They have the near mint 9.4 I like to look at is $4. They say that a graded copy would go for $45. Over on Overstreet Access, they say this is a $4 book. And if we look on eBay for sold listings, we see that it is selling for $30, $20, $24, Somebody got a VF copy for $4.70. That seems like a pretty good deal for around that time frame. $20, $48. So with where I'm at on this book, I think it looks bad right now for me, for the list I make. But for most of that time frame, it was looking pretty good. And then this is kind of one of those ones that if you bought it back then and you were holding it waiting for news, maybe you're getting close to a point where selling it would make sense, or you might want to hold on to it a little bit longer. I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like when somebody gets a graded copy back. But this one, it is heating up right now. So at, a little bit around the 6-month mark, kind of around that time frame, and I have to call it as a miss. So yeah, congratulations to, I think that one was from Key Collector. All right, moving on to the next book. This is one that's pretty interesting to me. It's the Return of Mark Hamill comic book from Jack in the Box, the one that I got stiffed on and really wish I'd got one, but I didn't. Anyways, I'm not bitter. All right, so let's take a look at the values for this one. There's going to be very few of the sources I use that actually are tracking sales data for this, it looks like. We have the Return of Mark Hamill on cover price. They do list it. No grade is the most common grade, which is interesting. There is a slab that's 7.5, and these arrived in terrible condition through the mail. Let's look at raw. So for raw values, kind of around the time the list was made, that's a few days before, like a week before, $18, $25, $20, $32, $50, $78, and then $53 in December of last year. Go Collect, it does not come up. I've searched for it a few different ways. I don't see it coming up at all. But you go to Comics Price Guide, they don't have it. Overstreet Access doesn't have it. Heading over to eBay, one sold this month for $40. And we do have $40 sales pretty consistently for this. And then $50 back in March, so a little bit higher. And then I think that's kind of where it peters out here for what is available on eBay. So for this one's a miss for sure. I expected these to return to Earth just based on kind of overall value for a free comic book. It also, when I made the list, I feel like other copies, I heard rumors they were starting to ship out to people, or people were getting tracking. So I thought, maybe more people are getting these books. It might be kind of an interesting one to pick up. I'm kind of curious to see how this one performs at the 1 year mark, and especially seeing if there's any graded copies. I forgot to look at the graded copies on Go Collect or on Cover Price. My bad. I'm going back to that. Yeah. So 175 sold for $48, and that sounds bad. But honestly, for the condition these shipped out in, I'm not terribly surprised. It is weird that it doesn't come up on Go Collect because it should be on the census. Interesting. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to call this one a miss. 2 misses in a row. That's kind of rare. All right, let's move on to the next book, and that's going to be Batman #6, The Court of the Owls appearance. All right, so our first stop as always is Cover Price, and the first full appearance of The Court of Owls and Batman 6 from 2012. Currently trending slightly down, and looks like the most common grade is actually a VF 8.5, which is pretty surprising. So it said the most common grade is a VF. Yeah, I do see the most sales data there for sure. Going from a couple weeks before the list came out, $43, $52, and then 24, 26, 40, 38, 51, 50, 44, 46, 48. Then we have 43, 50, 50. So up and down a few times. Looking at near mint, just curious here. 73 to 110. Let's see, 41, 64, 86, 91, and then we're kind of ending up at 56. Interesting. How about slabs? And I imagine 9/8 is going to be the most common slab. At least it's the one I want to look at for this type of book. So 285 about 8 days before the list came out. 380, 312, 325, 350, 285, 310, 300, 329, 260, 300, 270, 300, 400, 350, 372, 300, 400, and 350. Yeah, again, kind of down and then back up a bit. Looking at Go Collect, they have a 1 year FMV of 344, 90-day of 345, and a 30-day of 330. So slightly down on the 1 year average, but not really much at all. And then, yeah, the sales data totally backs that up. So that's interesting. How about Comics Price Guide? They have a 9.4 at $50, and they have a 9.8 at $300. That sounds about right. And then looking at Overstreet Access, they call a 9.8 copy, that whole near mint range or whatever, $10. And then looking at eBay sold, that was best offer, 56, 96 for less than 138. Best offer, a lot of best offers. Buy it now for 40. There was a buy it now for less than 40. 107 for a 9.6, 100 for a 9.6, and then yeah, in May here, 350 for a 9.8. Do we have another 9.8 to go back to? 307 from Canada for a 9.8 in April. So this is kind of going back up again. Is there a Court of Owls thing happening? Not sure. This is another one where it's not really like risen or fallen too much. So I'm kind of tempted to call this one more of a draw. The reason why it was on the list, by the way, when it originally came out was that the Court of Owls were rumored to make an appearance in the Spawn Batman crossover that came out. For those reasons, I don't think it really popped off. But still, I'm going to call this one kind of a break even. I don't think you really made a ton of money buying this book and then flipping it, but it's an established key. Like people recognize this key. If they're digging through bins and they happen to find a good deal on it, they're going to pick it up for sure, because they know that the Court of Owls are popular, villains for Batman. So I think it's kind of steady Eddie on this one. Let's look at the next book, which is DC Comics Presents 49. Oh my. All right, so let's head over to cover price for this one. And this is the team up of Superman and Shazam versus Black Adam. Obviously, this heated up because of because of the Black Adam ending. And let's see here. VF is the best for Raw and 9.6 for Slabbed. All right, so looking at VF, right the day before the list came out, $67, 49, 59, 43, 49, 49, 45, 50, 30, 46, 30, 30, 65. Slab 9.6s. Right before the list came out, it was going for $300 pretty steadily. In January, it was going for 180, 185, and then here in May for 442. That's weird. That is more than 9.8s have been going for since December. Okay. Let's look at Go Collect. Let's check out 9.8s just for comparison here. 473 1-year average, 437, and then a 550 on 30. So it's kind of like on a recent trend up, it looks like. Interesting. Yeah, that's a little bit more. That is a 9.8. We were looking at 9.6s. So just comparing 9.6s, that's 222, 240, and then 443 on a 30-day average. So yeah, it's creeping back up there very recently. That's based on one sale. It's based on that 443 eBay sale. All right, comicspriceguide.com has near mints at 60, and the 9.6s are at 210, the 9.8s are at 530. All right, we're looking over on Overstreet Access. They have this as a $110 book. And then looking at eBay sold listings, one sold at the end of April for $33, $20, a 9.2 sold for less than $125, 65, 9.6 for 440, 9.8 for 550. All right, so kind of getting a picture here. Raws are still selling for quite a bit lower, and it's those high grade slabs that are really going for premium, it looks like. And 1982, you're at the very end of the Bronze Age there, so yeah, a 9.6 is, for a key book of any kind, it's going to be a little bit more premium on that. Looking at it, I don't think there's really a whole lot here. It is interesting that the last 30 days it's had that uptick, but it does look like that's mostly based off one sale. So I feel pretty confident in that one too, especially since we now know that everything for Black Adam and Henry Cavill and James Gunn's DC, it's all kind of up in the air. There's been a lot of articles I've been seeing about The Rock not being too happy about what happened with Black Adam, so I don't know if we're going to get that team up again. That said, this, looks like for a high-grade Raw copy, you can get some money on it. For most Raw books, it's looking like it's selling in about the $30 to $50 range, so a little bit back down to earth on those. So overall, not one of my better showings for the price look-backs. Kind of interesting to see that every once in a while, especially with the market the way it is right now. It makes me wonder if some of these books aren't recovering a little bit, because especially some of the ones that I thought would be softer than they are have nothing really to do, I don't think, with movie speculation or comic book related speculation coming back for them. So that does surprise me. What did you think about the results this week? Let me know in the comments down below. On your way down to the comments, you can consider becoming a channel member. That does help me out quite a bit. Some of the services you just saw me use, I pay for with people's subscriptions to my channel membership. Every little bit helps, and then I do offer rewards and prizes every month too, so you can definitely check that out if you want. Also, I'd love to see you swing by my Discord if you're not already a member. We do talk about, all the top 5 not to buy related stuff and price lookbacks and speculation news and all kinds of things over on my Discord if you want to come check that out as well. And my channel members are up on the screen right now, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much, everybody. And until next time, I want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.